Yay! Hi,
Hi
Baker.
Lash. I had to like redo the high lash.
Wow! Look at this setup. I mean, I've seen your other Akko talk about it segments. I don't know why, but seeing it like on the other side as being part of it feels really special. Thank
And
you for having me.
oh my god, of course. I and you fit perfectly into this scene. Look at look at how beautifully the branding matches, honestly.
I love it. Excuse me for my coughing. I think I don't know. I think it's like a nervous tick right now.
That's okay. It's all right. Do your hydration. That's totally fine. Um, so to anybody who doesn't know who HighxLash is, this is HighxLash. I believe that I met you because of the underworld. I think.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I think that I didn't know who you were. I hadn't come across your channel until we were in the until I joined the underworld. And for anybody who doesn't know, Lash is the co-founder of the underworld. We had also co-founder Wreck-It Raven on last week, and I didn't even on purpose have that happen. By the way,
I love the way that worked out.
yeah, and you both wanted the same date, but and I'm like,
That's
well,
so funny.
we could have done all three, but I think that would have been a 2-hour episode. That would have been just a whole stream of chatting, not an hour. Um, jo- Joey, I'm lowbrow. Gonna rebrand. So yeah, we met because of the underworld. We met because of charity fundraising on Twitch, which is an incredible way, honestly, to get to know somebody anyway. But for those of you who don't know, Lash, would you mind please kind of giving an overall description of your content? And that can be Twitch, it can be all the things, because you are multifaceted, you are very diverse in the way you create content. So give them a little bit of an overview.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I okay, so thank I feel like you really like lifted me up on like such a nice platform, and I should go with it, and I'm thinking out loud. That's totally fine.
Yeah,
Thank you, Erin. I do stream on Twitch 3 times a week. So it is Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Generally, Sundays is at night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays I would normally do a daytime stream, which is noon Eastern time.
mm.
And basically, the kind of vibes during the weekday is kind of like maybe you're having a tough day at your day job, or maybe it's just a drag and you want a friend or something in the background to keep. So I try to provide like kind of like a little cozy corner in the internet for people to lurk, very lurker friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I myself am pretty introverted, so I try to kind of like think of myself as like what I would want as a viewer, and so I try to cultivate it in that way. Sunday nights are an exception because I feel like Sunday nights, like there's a lot of people who may or may not have Sunday scaries, which is like a little bit of anxiety going into Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to do a nighttime thing where we'll either play like an RPG, something comfortable like Final Fantasy X, which is so
So
old at this
comfy.
point, which I didn't even realize how old it was until I started playing it. And all these, mid 30-year-olds are like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
like right from my childhood and this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, same though.
Yeah.
um, Recently, we've been doing more community based things. So, like this Sunday, for example, we'll be doing like an open lobby Mario Kart.
That's cool. That's
Excuse
so
me.
cool.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like inviting people again, very lurker introvert friendly, to play, because I don't have like a voice channel on. I'm just like, you can just jump in the lobby. You don't have to be on voice. You can just chat through text in my Twitch stream if you want. We can have a good time. You don't even have to say, I'm only gonna jump in for like an hour. Sorry, blah blah blah. You don't
Yeah.
have to explain. Pop in, pop out, whatever. Um, so I've been trying to implement that. The exception that has been happening this July is
Yes.
that I've been playing a lot of Fortnite on stream. Truthfully, I'm trying to dip my toes into the YouTube short content
Mm-hmm.
arena, and I realized that I didn't have a lot of good clips of me playing Fortnite on stream. One, because I usually play it offline, and two, previously the times that I've played it, I didn't have the settings set up like in a way that showed a good stream.
Mm.
So for example, like there was like one victory that we got and the whole thing was like chugging. And I really needed
Oh,
to turn the graphics down and I like didn't do that beforehand. I didn't really prepare, right? I was just like,
yeah.
let's play Fortnite on stream. This time around, there's a little bit more intention behind it. And with that being said, I do a lot of other content creation things. Like I'm an illustrator and I make art for other content creators who needs it for their channels. Um, and so I do a lot of like coexisting hangouts in my Discord while I draw at my desk. I realized a few months ago when I didn't have a Discord that it was really lonely just drawing all the time when it felt like everyone else was having fun all the time.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, you know what? Now that I have this giant Discord of artists from the art show and tells that I've had on my stream in the
Mm-hmm.
past, which are basically like little talent shows for different art, like variety of artists, like whether you're an illustrator, music person, crochet person, whatever. Um, Once I got everybody in this little server for that, I was like, I can't delete this server. If anything, these are like my people. So now I put like cooking videos on or like nail art videos where it's like kind of just silent.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if anybody wants to draw along or if you're, having a bad day at the office, come chill. You don't have to talk to me, but we can give each other company. So that's kind of like how I'm moving and weaving around my internet presence right now.
No, that's really interesting though, because you're definitely somebody that I haven't seen. I'm sorry, you're the first person I've seen doing this. I haven't seen a lot of people doing this. We see the streamers who play chill games all day and they're all about the work and lurk. That's kind of my whole shtick. Is I decided to be a daytime streamer in this time zone, and it's generally daytime, give or take, depending on where you are. But I
Yeah.
haven't seen many people take your approach, which is you're not streaming, you're literally existing and building offline, which is something I need to personally kind of up my game, building community offline, even though you're online. What would you call that? You're online, but you're offline. Your work, I don't know.
I used to call it co-working and
Yeah.
then I changed it to coexisting because I realized like
Okay.
not everybody's working. Like there are some people who are like, I had the day off and I just kind of wanted to sit and have something on in the background. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just exist next to each other. There's no pressure to talk. There's no pressure to like be a personality. If you
Yeah.
just need to be, then let's coexist. So that's kind of how it started happening. And now I feel like there's community members who are saying things like, "Oh, are we coexisting today?" And I'm like,
I
"Oh,
love that.
it's caught on." Like,
Yeah.
cool. Like, yes, of course.
Yes. And welcome in, Ashton. I almost said Ashton. No, Ashen. Welcome in, Underworld fam.
Ashen, yes.
But I love also Trish just said the lash line as opposed to online or offline. I'm lash line.
Raptor noises. Sorry.
Did you say rapper noises?
Raptor noises.
Oh, I thought you said rapper noises. Either way.
No. Like sometimes when I get really excited, I feel like I just like kind of shriek and then
Raptor.
it just sounds like a dying dinosaur or something. I don't know.
A dying raptor. That's funny. No, I absolutely love that. Lash line or, coexisting.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that type of obviously it's not a business model, but it's absolutely a business building model in a way,
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it too, because I got really overwhelmed with the thought of having to build a community offline as well. And
Mhm.
I kept thinking of it in a business way that's like, well, I'm going to have to shell out this amount of social battery outside of streaming as well
Mhm.
to get people to play games with me and this and that. When I realized like when I try to think of it in a way that like sometimes I feel like in content creation you get a little bit of tunnel vision, right? You're
Mhm.
so into it, you're like looking at stuff, you're brainstorming stuff, and it's hard to take a step back and be like, okay, what actually works, which is being genuine and being yourself and being honoring yourself. And me taking a step into doing stuff like that was me saying that I'm breaking away from what I think would be a good business model and just doing something that is a little bit more balanced for me
Mm-hmm.
because that's easier for my brain. And it just so happens that there's like other people who feel the same way, which I feel so fortunate because for a while I was like, I'm just going to be here by my lonesome doing my own thing because everyone loves to like, socialize verbally. And I just don't always have the capacity to do so.
Yeah. And I'm so on board with that. Like, I know I didn't even realize you didn't have a Discord before you started doing the quote talent, shows, if you, just for lack of better, the showcases. I didn't realize you didn't have a Discord, actually, because Discord is hard for me. Like, I'm in like 3 people's Discords, honestly, and it's just because it becomes overwhelming. And it's the social
Yeah.
battery that you're talking about. I
Yeah.
I literally, and because I'm in so many other groups, I have 4 different charity ones. You have affiliate ones that when you become an
Yeah.
affiliate with a brand, they want you to join their Discord. It's
Mhm.
overwhelming. Then you have all the people that you play games with. You got to be in their Discords because you need to be
Yep.
able to jump into their chats at any time. It's overwhelming. And so
That's exactly it. Yeah.
yeah. So I need, now that I know a little bit more. Trisha's told me a little bit. Because obviously she's in your Discord. I feel like a shit because we have like totally different technological lives. Like she's in your Discord, she's in Atlas's Discord, she's in like so many other people's Discords, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? She's in like the Twitch mod Discord for music streamers. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I love that though.
We have totally different technological existences, and people don't even like realize that. Because it's easy to just assume that we pretty much live the same technological life, but we are very different in that way. But I love that. I literally need to join your Discord. So y'all, if you need to coexist, go. That's one link I did not put in her chat command. But is your Discord link in your card co link?
So that's a really good question. And I'll back up a little bit too. Like I
Sure.
used to have a Discord the first year of me streaming, like the first, yeah, I think I had it for exactly a year. I feel like I made a lot of rookie mistakes. I didn't have good boundaries and I let people walk all over me, and it turned into like a bullying situation. And in conjunction with that, I was in so many other Discords and groups, and I felt so overwhelmed that I literally deleted it and told myself I would never do it until the art show and tell happened. And then I told all the artists, I'm deleting this afterwards, so don't get attached.
That's funny.
So yeah. And with that being said, boundaries. I don't have my Discord invite link on my card. Right now I have the command on my channel only accessible through mods. I really try to take care of the community that's in the Discord by not opening it up like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't want anyone to feel like it's exclusive, no one's allowed. It's more so that I want people to feel safe in knowing that the person who runs the community will properly vet a new person who will come in, knowing that most of us in the Discord are like, sensitive artist people and things of that nature. And I've learned that basically from my first Discord that I basically let explode and deleted off into the oblivion of the internet.
That's totally fair. When did you start streaming? I actually don't really know how your streaming journey began, since we kind of accidentally got there right now. When did you start streaming? Why did you start streaming also?
So I started streaming. It's almost going to be my 2-year anniversary at the end of this month, which I'm really excited about. I probably won't do anything because I feel like it came so fast, and I have so many hands in other projects that I don't feel like I have the capacity to coordinate something special and meaningful. I would be disappointed if I just threw something together and it just didn't come out the way as planned. That's just how my brain works.
Oh, no, I resonate with that hugely. I'm the same way.
Yeah, you're a fellow artist and creative person, and you're like, if I'm doing something just to do something, it's not going to feel good. I really want it to be something that I thought out, has integrity, because I've processed it the way that I want it to be.
Yes.
Yeah, totally get it. So I started it because I'm one of those pandemic streamers. In March of 2020, I was furloughed from my office job, and I had been in basically the business industry and in corporate work for about 10 years.
Wow.
So I had like a lot of administrative business crap floating around my head. And then all of a sudden, I went from like, a working professional to furloughed. Um, and for anybody who may be like outside the US or something, like furlough basically is like they take you off the payroll, but they're like, once we get our stuff, once the company is back up and up to par with being able to pay people again, we'll bring you back on board. You still have health insurance. So basically, like,
Okay.
you're off the payroll, but you still get health insurance. You're still affiliated with the company. Fast forward to July of 2020, I basically got to the point where I was spending so much time by myself. I was playing Animal Crossing for like 13 hours a day.
Yeah.
I wasn't showering. I wasn't doing anything around the house. I was just like, I was probably in my most depressive state. And my partner kind of gave me a gentle nudge and was like, I think maybe it's time to try to find another job, or at least like find a hobby, like in the nicest way.
Yeah.
And like make friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I had worked with people in my office who were Twitch streamers. Like they did Twitch streams at night and stuff like that. And I saw that during the pandemic when they were furloughed, they were heavily relying on their channels for money. And I was like, well, maybe that's something I can get into, especially if I'm already spending this much time playing Animal Crossing by myself. Like I can maybe play other games and whatever. So I got like my tax return that summer and ended up getting a PC. My first PC that I've had since high school, maybe.
Wow.
I graduated high school in 2007. So that's like a long time, because once I started college in 2007, I was like, MacBook, laptop type of thing for a while. And then it was just all phone because I had a work laptop, which was also a MacBook for a while. So like I had not gone back to like video gaming, PC gaming, like anything like that in a long time. And that was like the first step of me really getting into content creation and seeing it as a business opportunity for me. I was also like really burnt out through all of the red tape and bureaucracy that happens in offices. There's always office politics. It doesn't matter like how like rad and cool like the office is. Like my office was really cool. Like there was no dress code. Everyone can have tattoos and beards and whatever and have cool hair. But like below that, it was still like a lot of shit talking if you weren't keeping your appearances and your conduct in a way that was old school business. So it was just like, I was really sick of doing that and was like, you know what? Since I've already been in this environment, I'm going to run my own stuff and try to do Twitch.
Yeah.
And so I started off as like a viewer for a long time, just trying to learn from other people who Twitch streamed, and that started with my coworkers, and then kind of did my own channel, and which is weird because when I first started streaming, I did World of Warcraft and League of Legends streams.
Wow. Who even are you? Are games fun?
Who am I, right?
Are games even fun, Lash? What the fuck?
Yeah, so that's how Games Are Fun started. I was being yelled at by somebody in League and was like, stop fucking shooting the turret, this, that, and all this stuff. And I'm over here like, games are fun, guys. Like,
there it
shut
is.
The fuck up. Games are fun. Like, you're making it not fun. And so I quit League, but I kept the phrase because I got like really, really, really salty about it. And that kind of just became the branding of my my channel.
I love it.
Is Games Are Fun.
We have a hat here in this household that says games are fun, okay? We have one of the hats. Because I felt the same way. It actually is very, very comforting when there's been a couple times when people come and chat with me, and I always feel like such a fucking noob because I didn't start gaming again since childhood until the pandemic. I always feel like such a fucking noob because everybody's like,
Same.
I've always been into this, but I started streaming, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Even when Halo came back, people are like, you never played Halo, blah, 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 and this and that. I'm like, no, like, when everyone was playing Halo in college and high school, like I was doing other stuff. Like I
Yeah.
was going to shows, like punk shows and shit, and I was like doing other stuff. Like I didn't really game
Yeah.
since I was like a kid until the pandemic as an adult, which is absolutely wild to think about because now it's like so in our everyday, right? Like even I know you do music streams, but I
Mhm.
also know you play games with other people on their streams and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, pretty much just beta. She enables me to also feel like a gamer some days. But if other people asked me, or I'm sure if I asked other people, it would be like, of course you can come play. I just typically, it's, it's a lot. The social battery that we refer to, the spoons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very nice to hear because I was the same way. I still have never owned a desktop. I still stream from a laptop.
Oh
But
wow.
also I'm not streaming games anymore. I have an Alienware
It
that I
seems like your
bought.
laptop's really strong anyways, like
It
your streams look
usually,
awesome.
oh, thank you. It usually is okay, but like I told you, like I always prep for the chat and tell somebody like, I'm sorry, you won't be able to see me in Discord because this computer doesn't seem to handle virtual camera anymore.
Mm.
Like, it's something that doesn't seem terribly compatible with streaming for me anymore, which is very confusing. But okay, whatever, you do you. But I've still never owned a desktop because I also had a work provided MacBook for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And so I had a PC, a laptop in college
Mhm.
because we also we graduated the same year, 007.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And so
That's the year of the Toshiba laptops, I feel like.
really, I had a
Oh,
Dell.
I totally had a Toshiba laptop when I graduated going
Trish,
into college.
that's funny.
Yes.
Oh, I see. I just had like a Dell Inspiron. I didn't know about that. But yeah, I had a little laptop, and then when I got a corporate-ish job with a startup, they provided me with a MacBook, and that's what I used up until I still have it actually,
Pandemic.
because the thing is so old that my boss was like, "It's yours now." I don't like.
Oh
It's a
my
it's a
god.
2010 refurb, and I
Yeah.
actually started streaming with it. I was doing music production streams for a minute in the very early stages of our new record getting recorded, and I was like capturing its screen to show music production through this
Yeah.
computer. Wild. Like I was still using that 2010 MacBook that I got from my first corporate job
Oh my
in
goodness.
in 2020. So,
Yeah, my last corporate job was like, if you guys want to keep the laptop, pay $50. Guys, returning to the office, I was like, I'm not
I
paying $50 for like a 2011
yeah,
refurb MacBook Pro. Like, no, I'm
that's
sorry. It's like $1. And
we
also it doesn't work with my Elgato capture card anyways.
yeah, I have the same. So what you gave back is sitting as a brick in my closet right now. That's You know how big those motherfuckers were too. They're
They
chonky.
were heavy.
Yeah, they're chonky. They're not little. They're chonky MacBooks. Anyway, I don't know how we got here. I needed to commiserate with you on that for a minute.
Yes, I kind of love that. I love that we had like a similar journey with our like computer
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, because I actually quit that part of the corporate job in 2016 because I just wasn't managing my health terribly well. But my boss was
Mhm.
the same boss for my corporate gigs, like my corporate bands. I just worked for the day job part of it.
Oh.
So he still let me keep the computer because I was still doing content creation for the social media and footage and stuff like that. But yeah, I actually ended up buying a couple new parts for it because I needed it in the beginning of the pandemic. So it was
Wow.
just like I just kind of kept it, and it just is what it is. Um, but anyway, yeah, I love that we have basically the same type of journey there. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I finally let that job go officially in January 2021. Like I
Wow. How are you
kept
feeling about it?
it. I mean, I was kind of transitioning out of the corporate stuff, and I was actually planning the transition for 2020 is what happened. Me and my
Okay.
boss put a plan in place in 2019 for me to transition out in 2020.
Mhm.
So I had 10 weddings, I think, booked in 2020. And not all of them got canceled, but this is where the boundaries things come in. I had to very quickly learn my boundaries because there were gigs going on that were against mandates at the time. And
Yeah. I
I
remember people trying to
was
sneak those everywhere, like
Oh yeah, and
all
they
around the
happened.
country.
Oh, they 100% happened. And I wasn't going to be a part of that. I'm like, I'm not breaking the law to work
Yeah.
for you. Like, that was the first
Oh
time
my
I
God,
ever
good
stood
for
up to
you.
that boss. And I was like, I'm not breaking the law for you. I'm not doing it. I've done so many professional
Wild that they
things
asked.
for this company for 10 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if you knew him, you'd be like, of course he asked.
Oh
That
gosh.
kind of boss.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was wild. So I technically worked for him until January 2021, and I didn't do any gigs for him in 2020. And so it was just kind of a, I'm done, right? Like it was just kind
Yeah.
of the mutual moment of, I mean, like, you know,
Hmm.
and he's like, yeah, I know. It's so that, at least that was good. But yeah, so now it's been over officially. I'm retired from the wedding industry for now a year and a half now, and I'm
Wow.
33 and I'm retired from an industry that I worked for a decade.
Love that.
Like, Lord,
Yeah.
we're too old, Lash. We're too old. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I
I
felt
don't.
that
But
in many ways.
so okay, so unexpected resonation with that for me. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, where did the lash part come in? So I
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there's a
So,
chunk missing here.
yeah, that's a really good question because I don't really explain it until people ask, and then I realize, oh my God, I realize there's like people online who don't know that side of me because
Hmm.
everyone in real life is like, oh, of course she, changed all her things from like Jess and then my government last name to
Hmm.
HighxLash was so before the pandemic, this was in May of 2019. Excuse me, May of 2019, I got my certification to do eyelash extensions. So, in addition to working in an office Monday through Friday, I worked in a salon on Sundays.
Mm.
So, I was like, I had two jobs, and the HighxLash brand took on a whole life of its own. It didn't have the X in it though.
Mm.
It was just high underscore
Mm.
lash whatever, I don't know, whatever. And so it started off with me doing like a lot of free lash extensions for like my coworkers, for example. But if anybody between you, Trish, or Chat has ever gotten eyelash extensions, it's hard to get rid of them because you're like, oh my God, I just want them. And, so it started off with people going like, yeah, I'll try them out to wait, so can you fill these in a couple weeks? I want to do an appointment with you. And
Hmm.
since I was only working Sundays, I had like a pretty good book of clientele.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like fully booked every Sunday for like many weeks, which I felt really fortunate about because at the time my partner and I were saving up to buy a house. I had just gotten a promotion at my office job as well around the same time. So I was like,
Hmm.
everything's coming up, Jess, like I can't wait to move out of this shithole type of thing. But
Yeah.
and then 2020 happened, and same thing with boundaries. It turned into one of those things where like not only were clients being kind of shady about being honest about their exposure and things like that, they would let things slip. Like they would come and get their lashes done and be like, oh yeah, like flights are really cheap right now, so like I'm so excited to get my lashes done to go on this vacation to fly to X wherever. This was before the vaccines too,
Hmm.
so that made
Hmm.
made me kind of have like heart palpitations and anxiety
Yeah.
to the point where my business partner who owned the salon, like I was paying her rent for basically like a spot in the salon, was also a little careless about COVID restrictions and this and that and coming into work. Like she was still posting like Instagram stories of like going out without a mask. There was again before vaccines. And I basically had to like wipe my hands and be like, I've paid rent for up to this time, but I can't come into the salon anymore. Like
Yeah.
hopefully I will be able to come back like whenever they offer vaccines and stuff, but I just can't go on the word of the public, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And I felt like I really needed to protect myself, but at the same point I was shooting myself up in the foot in terms of money.
Yeah.
And so it was like safety and stuff or trying to like still hustle. And it was hard because my mom is immunocompromised, so I really needed to make a decision there. And so I like quit the salon life. I tried getting back into salon life last summer,
Hmm.
after vaccines and stuff, but the cost of working in a salon was not making sense for me as somebody who was freelancing. I couldn't keep up with hustling art and Twitch just to pay the rent of the salon in which I was working again once a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it became too much. But with that being said, when I started my Twitch username or as a viewer, I just used HighxLash, but I put an X there because I was like, I don't want it to like interfere with all my lash stuff. I'll just use this as a like what is it called? Like a placeholder for now, and I'll change it later. And then it just never changed it, and now everybody calls me Lash, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But it comes from eyelash, but I am very cannabis friendly stoner, so I was like, it's got to be HighxLash.
I love it. I kind of assumed, I mean, like HighxLash is pretty like just on the nose for you. If you know, you know. Like I kind of figured it was weed and lashes. I just, I want to know the backstory more though.
Beauty and cannabis, baby.
I love it. I love it. And I love all your branding. And I know that
oh, thank you.
Yeah, like your branding is somebody, there's only a couple people that I seriously look up to in terms of branding and aesthetic, and you are fucking one of them. I'm serious. Like ever
that
since I started following you, I know it's kind of it's evolved since 2 years ago. But I mean, like I said, I probably met you in like probably like March of 2021 or so, whenever Underworld began. Now I don't remember when that was. February 2021?
I think it was February because it was right after the January 6th insurrection.
Right. Yes.
That's what sparked it all.
Yeah. Literally just after I learned that from Raven last week.
Yeah.
And so, so February 2021. And even so, that seems like a million years ago in time. Like everybody says, as you get older, time flies, but I kind of think that the pandemic has changed that in a lot of ways, because we all kind of have evolved in this way of protecting ourselves that we never really had to before. Like you said, you had to make that choice. The same choice I had to make was I'm shooting myself I'm shooting myself in the foot. I had gigs lined up. I used to make, and I'm not afraid of saying it, I used to make $500 to $600 a wedding. Like, and I turned it down because I'm terrified. What if? I get stuck in the what ifs when it comes to my health. Not so much in the rest of my life. I'm actually kind of like, fuck it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But in terms of my health, I'm very, very what if. And so you kind of had to make this same exact choice. It is so hard to walk away from consistent money. Like,
especially like, I'm not afraid to say it either. Like people will drop like $150 on their lash set. That's one person, and then they tip, and that like helps me like pay for groceries and gas or whatever it took for me to get to the salon.
Yeah. And
then my overhead stuff, which is like the rent and then the glue, which is really expensive because you need it to be professional medical grade glue, it's just anyways.
This is just random out of curiosity, do you do your own lashes or do you just wear falsies?
I've tried doing my own lashes. It is unethical, unsafe.
That's fair.
And don't ever do it. I just wear strip lashes now because that's what I can afford and work with. But yeah, I do miss getting my lashes done. Like that was the cool thing about being like salon moots with people. Like I used to be able to like be like, oh, do you want to trade services? And I'd get my lashes done. And like my tattoo artist, like I have a sternum tattoo. I got that for free because I like gave her mom a gift card to get some lashes done.
That's incredible. Yeah, I used to get full gel stilettos in trade services for like web services, like social media planning and website building, which is like,
hell yeah.
It's like the opposite because I don't have any of the other trade skills. Like I don't have any salon skills. But yeah, one of my salon friends for I think a whole entire year, I had a full set of gel nails. I went to her and pedicures too for a whole year.
That's so nice.
It was so nice. I miss it so much, and I'm like so tempted. I'm like, okay, there's literally she won't do trades anymore. Which was hard for her to do. Like putting up that boundary is hard. But obviously you respect it, and you're like, I get it. Like,
of course,
she was putting in a whole lot more time than I had to, so it wasn't totally fair, But I miss it so much. And trust me, if you lived around the block, I'd be like, okay, what do we got to do to make a sterile environment in your place? I'm coming right
Yes.
now. um, I'm so one of those people who would either do microblading or lash, that like literally lash
Extensions.
extensions. Oh my gosh. I'm one of those people who just want to wake up like this.
Same. I always complain about like the celebrities that are like makeupless selfie. I'm like, bitch, you got your brows like microbladed. You got some lash extensions. You have like
Yeah.
your lips. What do they call ombre lip? Where they just basically put your lipstick on for you. It's like tattooed on.
Really? I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen tattoo liner, but I've not seen tattooed like on your lips, but I've seen the liner kind of around it. I have not seen that. I've always kind of wanted to get my brows microbladed, probably before lashes, honestly. But anyway, I digress. I could talk about that kind of stuff all day. But I do have some other questions for you. And so obviously we know you've mentioned you commission art. You literally, that is part of your hustle, part of your diversification of income.
Yeah.
How long have you been an artist? How did it begin?
Great question. So I was like a very visual artsy child.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling because I love doing it in school, right? Like that was like my solace. Like I stressed about doing well all the time. I just wanted to be like I'm the oldest of my sister and I were only the two siblings that my parents have. So not only is it like my parents immigrated here and now they have their first kid and now I'm like sensitive and people pleasing. So I'm like, I just want to do the best ever. And whenever it came time to art, like that's where I felt like I could kind of relax and do my thing, but also still meet, like academic standards. And I remember telling my dad, like, I want to be a painter when I grow up. And he was like, very pragmatic in his way where he was like the only painters that are successful are the ones that are dead.
Oh,
And so I was
well.
like and I hold on to that so hard still, but
Yeah.
and that's a whole other story about like the dynamic between my parents and I, but that's where it started and that's where a lot of my energy came from. I took a bunch of art classes all the way up until college. And in college, I wanted to take some art classes, but I didn't because it was like in a whole other building that I had to take the train, like the subway to. I lived in Boston for college. So I was like, I'm scared. I want to do it later tonight. So I kind of stopped doing art for a little bit after college, at college, and then afterwards. And I got so caught up in like corporate work that I really didn't do any art until 2015. I got promoted to be part of the marketing team and I was kind of able to flex a little bit of my art muscle, but it was mostly graphic stuff. So I really had to learn how to do graphic design and stuff as well. And then in my last job, I worked for like a design and print company. So I was like slowly getting back into sort of digital art in that way. And then fast forward to March 2020 or July 2020 rather, when I started my own Twitch stuff, I was like, I can't afford to like hire artists. And if anything, I've been practicing doing this type of art at my last office job anyways to like help, customers who needed their stuff fixed or whatever for print. So I might as well just do my own art. And then that turned into like me doing art streams, doing channel point redemptions for art redemptions, to me being overloaded by them and not being able to fulfill them, to then being like, okay, y'all, I'm gonna have to do this as commissions now. Like I can't do these for free. I can't believe y'all like them enough to like want me to do them. And I can't believe I'm evolving as an artist because I'm doing so much of it now. Like I look back at the stuff that I started in 2020, it's so different than the stuff that I'm doing now, but it's because I've been consistently doing it daily for almost 2 years now.
Yeah. And no matter how much experience you had before that, it's going to change and it's going to evolve because you've been doing it so much. Would you say that's a lot of your workload now is art commission?
I yeah, I would say that. I think it's like the most time consuming, which is why I ended up lending myself to the coexist model on Discord, because it like it got to the point where I was getting, like, somebody had bought a package, like an emote package, for example, and then somebody else bought one right after,
Yeah.
and then somebody bought a smaller one, and it got to the point where all of a sudden I have 18 emotes to do in 4 weeks, and Trish can probably relate to this, but art cannot be rushed. There's no cutting corners.
Mhm.
And if you try, you're going to get frustrated with yourself, and it's going to take even longer. And so I feel like that is most of my workload, because the art itself takes long, can't take cut corners, and I'm still learning as I'm doing it. There's so much about the chibi style, for example, that I do the emotes for, where it's different from traditional art, where you're looking at a light and the way the light hits it and then the way the shadow hits it. Emotes are different because they're 112 by 112 pixels. So you have to like re-evolve your brain about highlights and stuff, and it's hard, but you're processing and you're learning as you're doing, and that's so much of my time.
Yeah.
So much of my time. So if you see me get snappy at people when people are like, "Oh, I wish I could draw," I'm like, anybody could draw. You just have to take the time.
That's
I will 100% be like, or a friend of mine made a comment the other day that was like, practicing a craft sounds fake. I was like, it's not fake. Okay, there's so many of us who spend so many hours doing this all the time, where, well, everybody else gets to have fun, and sometimes we do good work and we're proud of ourselves, but sometimes it feels bad, but it's all part of art.
Trish is literally just sitting here. You just atted her so hard in so many ways.
I took my hat off. I'm working, so I'm actually working on like a corporate graphic and a whole other desktop, and trying to make all these different sized logos fit on something. And I had to take my hat off and put my head on my hands, going, "Oh my god, if this does it!" And I have commissioned paintings sitting next to me that I have to work on too. So it's like,
it's just staring at all of your work.
I feel it.
Figuring out what you want to do.
Literally.
And Trish, I feel that, because I used to work with realtors who wanted all these logos on their business card, and I'm like, your business card is 2.5 by 3, and you want all of these logos that are not brand friendly with your realtor company, but you want to include them, but you're providing me with like 10 by 10 pixel. Like, I don't know how to make this work for you.
Yeah.
The number of logos that I've had to like throw into Illustrator and like auto image trace and then just like change the path. I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't have to look great because it's not my problem, but I'm the one doing it, and now I have to make it look great because like I'm the one doing it. Erin knows, like she's nodding as much as I am, because she's like, "Oh yeah," because Trish goes down that rabbit hole. I watch it happen.
Yeah, and we have all in
like
some way done it corporately too.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
it's people
fun.
like giving you like a really giant messy casserole, right? And they're like, "Can you elevate this? I have like a dinner meeting later. Can you do this for me?" And you're like, "Okay, I guess so."
Let me put some crumble on it, I guess, and throw it back in the oven. Yeah, that's quite literally. And this is to such a lesser extent, but like, think about my life in terms of creating band promos and adding other band logos. When my marketing,
you like,
my marketing shit is totally on brand. It's high res, all of it. Either I paid professionals to do it. Trish has been paid to be the professional to do it sometimes. Like it's all on point, and then you are handed this terrible piece of thing.
Here's a JPEG with a white background that's 72 DPI.
Yeah. It's painful. It's nobody sees that part of it.
They're like, just do it. You do magic, right? You're like, if magic means having a meltdown every freaking hour, then sure, okay.
But like the curse of all of it though is that, and I mean, I know Erin's like this, I'm like this, and I don't know, Lash, if you're like this or not, but I know most creative people are, where if we're presented with something like that, we're gonna have a meltdown over it, we're gonna rack our brains and make ourselves crazy, but we're still gonna do it in the end, because that creative challenge that it poses, and you're like, no, I'm gonna make this look good, I gotta do it, it's gotta look good.
Exactly. And oh my god, I wish I had it next to me, but I have this mug mug. It's of course a pink mug, very similar to this, but it says, "I may cry, but I still get things done."
You need that mug, babe.
I totally need that. I need that on a t-shirt, a hat, a mug.
Oh, and you know what's funny? Okay, so this brings it full circle because I write down a couple things about like your profiles and stuff, like outside of the questions I had sent you. And my favorite thing about a couple of your profiles is that one of them says creator and crier. And one of them says the criest baby.
Yes.
It's
so true.
And so this does full circle, I promise. So also I know that you do tend to lean into, I don't know how much, so I actually, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you tend to lean into astrology a bit. I know you're a Cancer. I know. Yeah. I've been leaning into astrology myself as well. So I kind of wanted to ask you, there's no real question here. I guess the question is like, how much do you lean into astrology? Do you kind of like, how much do you relate to, being a Cancer? Obviously, like the criest baby thing gets me. That's not even a fucking word, and I love it so much.
Oh my God. When I first started my lash business, I wanted to call it Crybaby Lashes, and then I figured out there's somebody in LA who already has a lash business called Crybaby Lashes, and I was like, no, that's me. But I definitely, I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely identify heavily with my sun sign. I really love astrology, and I know that there are some like cis het men who are like, how can you be wanting facts but loving astrology? And it's like, come on, man, it's just fun. Like, let me have the fun, right?
Yes.
And if I believe in it and it gives me something to look forward to or give me guidance that is not harming anybody, then like go like complain about something else, man. Like I love astrology. I think it's fascinating. I'm really big into like celestial wise, like how the stars align and how that affects things like the moon and how that affects gravity and how that affects the way we live in the world. With that being said, I also don't like, I still have fun with it. Like, I don't let astrology, like, if there are some things that are like, me and you are not supposed to be friends, like, I will never like break up a friendship or relationship over it. It's just an interesting point of guidance is really what it is, right? And so, I like astrology a lot. So I tend to lean heavily on like the Cancerian thing. And whenever I see a person with a birthday right near mine, because mine is July 14th, people are like, oh my God, like July 16th. I'm like, oh my God, we're such sensitive Christ babies, obviously just in banter and like playfulness.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. When other earth signs or other Capricorns kind of reveal themselves, I'm like, of fucking course you are. Of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah.
Because why else would I be like, that's actually happened with streamers, like whole ass streamers that I seriously identify with. I want to raid them all the time because they're like always my favorite people. And it's like, I always want to be there. And I feel like, how some streams just don't vibe with your stream, You don't want to send your community over to a stream. And this goes for any genre. This goes for any gamer. Yeah. Anything. You don't want to send your community over to like the opposite, the like radical opposite
if the vibes
vibe.
Don't match. Yeah.
And so like I always find that a couple of like my birthday buddies are some of the best choices if I can raid them. And then I found out that they were like birthday buddies, one of whom is the same birthday but 1 year older. And I was like, of course you are. Of course you are. Like, it just made too much sense. And I'm like obsessed with these streamers and then learn that they're Capricorns. And I'm like, like you can't make that up.
I definitely relate with that. I feel like the people that I bond with most quietly are always Cancers. And we always keep each other like in check, but like, again, like very quietly moving fluidly like water. You know what I mean? It's so interesting whenever I'm like, my birthday's coming up and somebody's like, mine too. I'm like,
yeah,
no wonder we're so bonded.
It's true. And what's funny is that, and I'm sure that like my moon and rising also kind of affect how because my rising is Cancer. And so I know that typically Capricorns and Cancers don't work. But I have not had that experience. There's many this sounds so weird outside of astrology. Many Cancers in my life that I love dearly, and they're my favorite people. You're one of them. But like, that's technically, it's like you said, it's all fun and games, but why would I like be like, no, you're a Cancer and the horoscope says that we cannot be friends? Like, no, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Like,
I always marvel at the fact that, like, Bunny, for example, is an Aquarius. My partner is an Aquarius. Sensitive Joy is an Aquarius. Zooks is an Aquarius. Some of my favorite people are Aquariuses, but on paper it says that Cancer suns and Aquarius suns like don't mix personality-wise, and that's just simply not true in my life for whatever reason.
Yeah,
and maybe it's my rising and my moon. I always joke that my moon is Sagittarius, and that's where I get my chaos from, and Virgo rising, which is where my organizational skills come from.
Yep, you got to get them earth signs in there somewhere. But yeah, I'm a Sagittarius moon and a Cancer rising, and I think, and I didn't quite understand any of that until I started studying tarot, which I didn't even know tarot.
Same.
Yeah, like I did not know that they were related until I started not accidentally studying tarot. I just kind of started to be like, I was starting to talk about it. I was like, I've always wanted to do that, and you know, pandemic time is like, you know, now I have time to maybe do some of this stuff I love. So Trish got me a deck for my birthday in January 2021, and it's just, you know, downhill or uphill, if you want to say it that way, from there. And it's kind of become another income source. It's become another love in my life. And I didn't realize how much astrology lives in the cards. And it explains my obsession with goats. Like,
I love that.
I didn't know until I knew, and then I'm like, oh my god. So if anybody doesn't know, in tarot, the Capricorn card that represents Capricorn's sun is the devil, and it's just a giant, you know, Baphomet looking person who is, you know, kind of a goat. You know, different decks have different devils, so I say that sparingly, but it kind of all makes sense. But I'm blanking on what the Cancer card is at the moment, though. What is it? I'm like totally blanking on it.
Crab.
Blech.
It's a hard shell crab.
Is it the Hermit then? It must be the Hermit then, because that's the only one that would check out. Somebody tarot check me real quick. But and the Aquarius card, for instance, is the Star. So like I love that card a lot. Oh, it's the Chariot. Thank you.
Oh, the Chariot.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I don't know who the Hermit is.
Oh my god, didn't you pull the Chariot on my pull? By the way,
I probably did.
I know I'm like the guest, but Erin does tarot readings and they're beautiful, and you should go to her Ko-Fi and go buy one, because I was blown away. 100% blown away.
So I obviously
it was like very personal.
It was. And I don't want to, you know, tarot is very, very personal. That's why I don't really do it on screen very often, because the one day that I did do tarot on screen, I very quickly kind of almost got uncomfortable, because I was like, I don't remember who it was for, and if you're in the chat right now, you do not have to say, because it got kind of personal. It was like about a relationship with their dad and how strained it was, and it was just a quick little 3-card pull, but I was like, okay, I love doing this, but like also this is really personal. Like, I'm like, this is, stackers got red. It was I don't know how many I did that day. It was like a charity incentive. So it did make it really special, because I don't not plan to do it again, but I also don't plan to do it again. So I might keep it way up there for charity incentives, but yeah, your reading took me by surprise. I was like, wow, there's a lot, and depending on the day, I do readings differently for depending on the day. Like some days I just get bored and do random spreads, and like I don't. It just kind of is what it is. And so on the day that I sat down to do yours, and this is what I will say about it, is that Lash commissioned like a 5-card spread, and I was like, no, you didn't. You're getting 7 cards. Because the question was, what does my career look like through the rest of the year? And because of the timing, I was like, man, this is a good opportunity to do 1 card per month. But then I was like, I need more. I need more information. And I do that all the time. People will commission a 4-card spread, and then I'm like, this sucks. I need one more card. So it was really on the nose, and I never know that it's going to be on the nose until the person comes back and says, "Holy shit." And you came back to me with a novel, and I was like, I love it.
I came back with like an essay and a visual representation of how what she said was true, and I was just like, holy crap.
And I was in the revision. I was literally in the calendar.
Yeah, I showed her my calendar.
And then in there's Acco talk about it with Erin. I was like, oh my God, it couldn't have been better, honestly.
Yeah.
But can you believe it's almost been an hour that you've been chatting? I can't.
It's been such a lovely hour. I feel like I can talk to you forever.
That's how I feel with everybody, and I never want it to end. But honestly, I didn't even really touch on the mental health part. We did kind of touch on the social battery, which is related to mental health. But one thing I always want to leave this conversation with is how has Twitch and streaming helped you mental health wise? How has it affected you positively?
Yeah, so it's affected me positively in that I feel like, aside from the fact that I get to really immerse myself in all of the creative projects that I've wanted to do but may not have had the time or capacity to do, I can do for myself. It feels really empowering to be able to curate your brand and have no red tape about that if you've been in a situation prior where, working in marketing and there's just like not a lot of creative freedom. So having the creative freedom to do basically whatever I want to do is amazing. But secondly, and probably the most important, is I feel like having that genuine output of art has made me meet the most incredible people who have been like consuming my art, and people who I never thought that I would ever meet, who can understand me in a way, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like many of us on Twitch, and maybe I'm generalizing, but I feel like there's a lot of us who maybe in our day-to-day real life, there's not a lot of people either in our family or immediate social circles that understand you on a specific level, and maybe you don't even think about it sometimes until you meet people from places like Twitch, where people just get you and they have your back, and you don't feel like you're constantly explaining yourself in a way, because people are like, no, I got you, I see you, you're great, and it would be cool if we were friends. And I just think that's the best part.
Yeah, meeting people like you, meeting like-minded people who actually don't challenge your boundaries, and they understand, they want you to take care of yourself. That's one thing that I never no, I mean, like, excluding my parents, who are totally like, are you resting enough? Because make sure.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, you have all the people around you IRL, and that was totally true for me, was that they didn't understand that I do have to take care of myself. How can I work for you if I'm not taking care of myself? Like,
Yeah.
I can't physically do my job if I'm not taking care of myself. But they didn't give a shit. And so in terms of streaming, and I don't know about you, I hate, like, in terms of like calling it a job. It's not a jobby job. It's what we do. We are content creators. But it is our income. It is a good chunk of how we are supporting our households. And so to have the people who are our bosses, you know, our supporters, there are bosses in a way, you know what I mean? Like, we're our own boss in a self-employed way, but to have the people who are supporting us and helping us run our households monetarily,
who understand you.
Yes.
Right?
Who then say, you know, if I'm in a mental state that I can't handle that day, or if I'm in a physical state that I can't handle, or both, because that's a thing too. It's like, you tell your Discord, you tell whoever, you tell Twitter, and they're like, nah, see you next time. Maybe here's some money because we love you to take the day off. That does happen, and that is something that I don't think any industry, what other industry is like that? Because
even in industries where they, you know, you get a paid wellness day, for example, there's always the underlying red tape of like, I can't believe that person took that day.
Yeah.
Whereas your supporters are like, please take care of yourself, instead of like, wow, oh, Erin's sick again. Like, it's not like that at all when we are in spaces like this.
Yeah. And that, I think, is the best, that breath of fresh air.
Agree.
Right there. And meeting, and I swear it comes around, meeting the people that you mentioned, meeting all the lovely people that just tend to find you, you know, if you build
people who are receptive to your stuff, that's so powerful.
And if you're building if you're building a space that you stand by the authenticity and just being genuinely yourself, you create a beautiful community around you. They find you, and then you end up in a community somewhere that's not so welcoming, and you're like, well, this is telling.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I've definitely experienced that before, where I just assumed everyone, was like as close as, the mutual circles that I know. And it's just like, I will say, like, all of our mutual circles, people in chat and Trish and you and whoever else that we're friends with, we have special communities that are really there for each other, because I've been in others where it's not like that, and I was rudely awakened.
Yeah. Yep, it happens, and it's like, this isn't fun. This doesn't feel safe. This feels it's like a very close line of like being bullied because you're not in the group when you come into a chat and there's just too much going on that just doesn't feel welcoming, That's definitely, can you tell that's like a fear of mine as it comes out of my mouth? Because communities have so many inside jokes. It's hard to kind of steer away from that, because you as the creator enjoy the inside jokes, and that people care enough to remember them. But it's also like, please, I don't want everybody to not feel welcome. I swear.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I can relate.
It's so like our Targle thing. People are like, what the fuck is a Targle? I'm like, you're a part of the Targle story. Because it's so stupid. You literally, you are a part of the Targle story. And we explain it I might as well explain it now that I'm here. Because Trish tried to say scented candle from Target, because I know what it was. I have Joy's mug. You drew the art on Joy's mug.
Yes.
So I was like, it's Sensitive Joy by HighxLash. And she's like, if she was trying to say that sounds like a scented candle from Target. But what she said was, that sounds like a cargle from Targle.
Love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that is the Targle story, and that's why we have the command. And if somebody wins any iteration of 69, it's like just a random generator in Streamlabs. They get it to sticker. Trish drew up a candle sticker that has like our sub badge on it.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
So you are a part of this
funny
channel's
about artists?
lineage.
We're like, we'll cry over art projects, but if there's a funny thing, we're like, oh, I can do that really quick. I can whip that up really quick.
She's clapping and laughing next to me. So yeah, that's a great way to actually kind of tie up the whole chat, because you're a part of this channel's like lineage and mythology now forever. You are
I'm honored.
A Sensitive Joy by HighxLash. Like, it does. It sounds like a scented candle line at Target or something. It does. It's like one of those really minimalistic Target commercials with like a person on a patio, but everything's like white and tan. Like that's what it is. So anyway, I didn't mention this earlier. However, I want to mention it now. There is a dynamic follow button on Lash's side of the screen. So if you have decided at any point through this chat that you would like to follow her, but you don't want to navigate away, you can follow her on Twitch right there using that little button. It's over there. I can't point to it because it's on Lash's side of the screen. But probably somewhere over there. And so you can click it to follow HighxLash on Twitch if you don't want to navigate away. And then in that chat command, I put Lash's Cardco link in there because it's to every single thing. And
Thank you.
Yeah. And so before we wrap up, do you have any like final things you want to promo specifically going on like soon, other than your birthday? Happy early birthday, by the way.
Thank you. The only thing, I guess, on Sunday we're having a Mario Kart stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody is invited to join. It's open lobby. It's Mario Kart 8 specifically. So if anybody likes to race, if you're shy because you're new to the channel, you don't worry. There's no voice or anything. You can just join the lobby. It is all good. Pop in, pop out whenever you want. And that's going to be Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Erin, thank you for having me.
Oh, Lash, thank you for, I almost said having me.
Great movie. You too.
Right. Yes, that's the worst. Oh my God. Have a great time. Thanks, you too. Oh no, that person's at work. Oh God. It's literally. Do we have Mario Kart 8? What do we have?
So we both have a copy of Mario Kart 8 because somebody was going to do a Nintendo night.
Ooh.
It was beta.
So we both have our own copy of it, yes.
So I'm just saying, you might find me in Mario Kart on Sunday night.
Listen, I have a long ass horrible day on Monday, so I'm probably gonna play Mario Kart. Let's be real. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'm gonna play Mario Kart.
I'm so excited.
Oh, yes. So yeah, y'all please go check out HighxLash on Twitch, and the card co link is also in the chat if you want to find her elsewhere. But again, thank you so much for being here and taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.